Road. Is there any other veterans in the room? Any veterans?
Let's give the veterans a hand.
Mr. President? Any veterans, thank you for your service. Not for you guys, men and women, we wouldn't be able to be here and do what we do, especially tonight. So thank you for your service.
All righty, we're going to get started here. I've got the questions here from the county commissioner. It's going to be the same format and rules that we've had all evening. They've drawn to see who goes first. Mr. Burke was the lucky or unlucky one, depending on how you look at it. And so we'll get started again. Same time restraints that they have, and then the same closing remarks. So with that, they've been reminded of the rules, and we will get started. Again, gentlemen, we'll read the question one time. Don't ask for it to be repeated unless it's just absolutely necessary, okay? You can jot down the notes there, because some of them are a little bit lengthy. But question number one is emergency medical services challenges have been a problem, especially in rural areas for the county government. Although the commission has been working through these challenges, there seems to be no long-term solution for countywide EMS. What steps would you as commissioner take to resolve this issue, and how would you foresee budgeting for this service? Mr. Burt, you're up first.
That's a great question, thank you. As you know, that as far as the budgeting for the EMS services, we've got a couple. We've got one Ashton EMS for profit. We've got Piedmont EMS for nonprofit. As far as helping out with those, I know there's a recent bill that just passed that helps with some of that. As far as when the ambulance service is called out, they until this bill was passed, they were not able to bill for that if they did not take someone to the hospital. So that's helped fund some of that. And I know recently with this opioid money, and I think it may be wrapping up here in the next couple of years with Sunshine Law and all. But we need to look into that. One of the things that I don't know if you all have noticed, one of the rapid response that Ohatchee has gotten out. They just recently saved a dear friend of mine's life. He just fortunately lost his battle. We buried him last week, but I think that's important. I'd like to look into that, for maybe the city of Weaver. What we are looking at is, as far as response time, we're talking about minutes. So that is something, obviously, that we need to look at from a budget standpoint. Maybe allot some of the tax money to that, and just help out as far as creating that rapid response in the Weaver community as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Mr. Howell.
I'll say that probably couldn't have been a better first question. There's something really top that question, because MS has been a big concern for us. In fact, it's kind of filtered since I've been here for 3 years and 4 months and a few days. And we have used our opioid funds, which are allowable to surface into fuel into Ashton EMS, also Piedmont. One's a for-profit and one's a private owner, but they're both valuable. I mean, we've got to have, for sure, two services, in my opinion. I mean, you're looking at 116,000 people in Calhoun County, 1,192 road miles. This issue is critical. And currently, just to let you know, if you don't know, we have funneled in $1.6 million thus far. $1.6 million of our opioid funds, and that bank account is getting small. So I'm not sure where the next funds will come. I was in Montgomery, and we did push through, thank the Senate and the House, a bill to make this better. But the only problem with that is currently, we really do, as we stand today, we do not know what funds will come in. Funds are going to come in, and we know that. hope it's on the high side and not the low side. And I know our EMS people do also, because this is critical. Last thing I want to do, because I've got Webster Chapel, last thing I want to do is cut funds and service from anybody. I mean, everybody deserves help. I mean, if your grandfather's having a heart attack, or your wife, or your husband, your kids, you know, we deserve to have somebody there to help them. So we'll continue to push forward on that.
Thank you, Mr. Howell. Up next, Mr. Turner.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. The budget of the county commissioners is pretty fixed. Everybody knows what it is. You go in there and look, analyze what the budget's being spent for the EMSs. Go to each EMS, find out what they need, sit down in a room and figure out what they're gonna have. It's just a simple formula of math. How much do you have? How much do you need? And how you're gonna properly disperse it. It's a mathematical formula.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Mr. Wilson.
Good evening. The emergency management have been helping us a long time, but now the costs has increased. So we have provided $1.6 million over the last 2 years to keep this in operation. It's very important for the people who live out in the rural areas that we meet them where their needs are. So we are working hard. A new bill been passed by the legislature to provide some funds. So we continue to spend our money, and we want the help from the legislature. So that's what we are doing to improve the emergency management in our county.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Shears.
Good evening, everyone. I've been very excited about this since it was put on the calendar. Being able to come with all my friends here and talk about things that are going on in county government. EMS 4.5 years ago, when I was appointed to the commission for 1 year before I ran again in 22, it was not even on the radar about having to come up with funding for our county EMS departments. They had always, for many years, had taken care of themselves. But things have changed. Costs went up on paramedics. Their wages went up. The cost of an ambulance skyrocketed. All the material that goes in that ambulance. Johnny Warren's a friend of mine. He's sitting right here with Anson EMS. He will tell you, if you want to talk to him, how much things have gone up. So we, as a commission, had to come up with basically a way to help fund this need without any additional revenue coming in. And so we studied long and hard, tried to figure out some way to come about and do that. Our local EMS companies were coming to us and said, look, we're not crying wolf here. If we don't have some additional funding, we may have to pull back from some of the remote areas of the county. And we thought, 2024, we just cannot imagine somebody calling 911 and not being able to get an ambulance out when Granny's having a stroke or Dad's heart attack or a car wreck or whatever. So we had to meet several times to come up with a solution. The best we could come up with, it was taking some opioid settlement money that we got handed down to us from the federal level, which we knew would run out at some point, and it's about to run out. But we are working very hard. We're going to continue to come up with the best solution. Even though we're not required to fund EMS in the county, the public perception is you better have an ambulance out there when I need it. And we're working on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shears. Mr. Hodges.
Hey, everybody. Absolutely. EMS is an incredibly important need. I think any elected official's number one responsibility is the safety and well-being of their citizenry. So if there's anything that we can do to better support the EMS services, which there are many that work together in the area, then we need to do that. Response times are critical. I think any data point, anything that's very important, you need to be able to sit down and measure it. I want to make sure that we're looking at the response times, we're looking at the roads in District 1, West and South Anniston. A lot of the roads and stuff in there can sometimes slow response times, can slow down where you're trying to go. It's a holistic thing and every element needs to come together, but one of the candidates up here mentioned a cooperation. It really is something when it comes to rural healthcare in this area that we have to put egos and personalities aside, and we have to sit down and determine what is best for the men and women that are out there doing the job, because it can be a thankless job. I've seen them do it. It is critical. It wasn't about 4 or 5 years ago, there was an EMS case where an individual wasn't picked up in time and someone loses their life, and it can be very personal. Healthcare can be a very passionate topic. I think we've seen a lot of that here locally lately, but we have been able to overcome and improve by bringing parties together and by having cooperation and conversation. And it's that type of conversation that we need to see the bigger picture, which is supporting the men and women that do the job, but making sure that the job is well done and that people are kept safe.
Thank you, Mr. Hodges. Now we're to the next question. Mr. Howell, you're up first on this one. The county has a stray and feral animal problem. Animal welfare and the treatment of animals have long been a volatile issue in the community. The county recently purchased a facility at Fort McClellan. How can the county balance cost, staffing, and humane care standards at the shelter? Please speak of your vision for the shelter and the role of working with the rescue operations. Mr. Howell, you're up first.
Well, I said you couldn't top that first question, but you just did. You know, animal control was one of the 5 things that I campaigned on first time that I ran. Something near and dear to me, but you know, some people are animal advocates, some people are not. But you know, also, we can talk about sheriff's office and some other things here shortly, because I stand just as well as sheriff's office I do animal control, our senator. We bought that. We were in a substandard kennel. Sometimes you got to play the cards you play, what you got. You had a kennel that was just substandard, and I was glad to get out of that. 40 kennels. It's a dream come true that I pushed forward, and I was close to acquiring some land, working with the city of Anniston to possibly move in to have a building one day. You got to have land before you have a building. Lo and behold, during a community meeting, not a county city meeting, but a community meeting in Anniston, Alabama, we come together. Chairman Patterson was in the room along with Oxford, Piedmont, Anniston, and we come together. I got called to the side after the meeting from a gentleman that said, "Hey, I just put our shelter up for sale. We'd like to buy that. Are you guys really serious about that?" I said, "Yeah, we're serious about that, because we were serious about that before I even got here." So we bought a $2 million facility. Excellent facility. I have one of the best animal control directors in the state of Alabama. She's in here tonight. Naomi Richards and a crew that put together, compassionate about animals. They move animals to Tennessee about every other week, 10 and 20 at a time. But the problem is we have 50% responsible pet owners and 50% irresponsible pet owners. Somehow we've got to change that concept to make it happen.
Thank you, Mr. Howell. Mr. Turner, you're up next.
Probably not a person in this room that doesn't love dogs and cats and animals and strays and things like that. I mean, everywhere you go, I go down the road and my daughter is like, Dad, you know, that dog's loose. I'm like, yeah, I know, that dog's loose. So we'd be redundant by repeating the same thing about how much we love dogs and love cats and care about animals. I would bet. The question is, how do you afford to do the things that we're doing with our budgets and the things that we have bought? It's my understanding, and I probably steal a little bit of Toby's thunder here, but in talking to some of the folks who are working on the facility, there's about a $2 million purchase and another $500,000 that's been spent. I'm not sure if it's up to its full potential at this point. So we're still going to spend a good bit of money on the facility, which is fine. That's what we've chosen to do, and that's what we're responsible to do. So, you know, hey, this is like a lot of these other issues that are going to come up under these questions that are going to be asked tonight. How do we pay for all this stuff? You know, that's the number one concern I think people have about our Calhoun County budget. Most, I would measure a guess, most of y'all, and I may be dead wrong, don't really know what the total budget is and how much available money is left over after all the expenditures are made and how much interest that budget, how much interest the money that's left over from the expenditures is earning. So those would be, pretty legitimate questions that we could probably confront and ask, not counting the extraordinary monies that we got for COVID relief and other things like that these last 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Mr. Wilson, you're up next.
One of the main things on my platform is to improve animal care in Calhoun County. In my 14 years here as a commissioner, we have worked tirelessly to improve animal care. We do it by adoptions that are necessary and letting the animals go out of the county for good reasons, in other areas. I have worked hard with the animal control personnel, and we need good personnel who cares about animals. So we have to care about our animals and take care of them better. We have obtained a good place for our animals. We spent over $2 million for a new facility. So that was really needed for our animals. And we do a lot of better things with them now by having adoptions and having a place for to groom them and take care of them and let people have a dog and daycare time. So we've done a lot of good things for our animals in Calhoun County, and we're going to do better.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Shears.
Senator Kelly, I believe your question was moving forward, how we balance costs in the animal control. That's a tough one. Thank goodness we've got a commission that's been good stewards of the people's money for the last several years. We was able to take money out of our capital improvement fund to buy this facility that was about half the price of what it would have cost to build a new one like it. But because of putting money aside into that fund, we didn't have to issue a bond to go out and buy that facility. And it has tremendously improved us. I know Mr. Hodges is here. He'll tell you that the city of Anniston now works with us. They have kennels that are dedicated for them. And it's moving forward. It's going to be fantastic for us. Balancing cost is just part of one of those costs that you don't ever get back what you put into it. But we feel like we have turned the corner on animal control. Now, just this past week, there was a trial that many of us followed here in town against a former county employee, and he got found guilty, and he should have, of some things that he was doing that was not right. And we had our county attorney there every day, and I would get text messages twice a day and a phone call every night about what went on at the trial. And we feel very good about the outcome of that. Do we feel good about what happened? No, it was terrible. But we're moving forward. We've got that behind us. And animal control is one of those things. It's just one of those tough areas that you have to balance and you have to find a way to lead. I've always said leaders find a way to lead. Animal control is not a fun topic, but we have to find a way to work together, and we will get better here in Calhoun County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shears. Mr. Hodges.
Yes, animal control is one of my top 2 platform policies. I'm going to give you all some information to put into perspective animal control, because we hear a lot about animal control. We hear a lot about the strays, but if you live in Anniston, if you live in South Anniston, West or Central Anniston, you see it every single day. So from 2015 to 2022, you can look at the publicly accessible Anniston Police Department annual reports. The Anniston Police Department not only serves the city of Anniston, but also outside the police jurisdiction. I'm running for District 1, which sits firmly within the central part of Anniston. Most of it is all Anniston. And if you look at the information from 2015 to 2022, the police on average were getting 3 to 4 calls per day. It maxed out in 2022 at 1,800 calls. From 2023 till now, we are getting 6 to 8 calls a day. It is a 97% increase in calls to the police about animal control. And now I'll go further, because I live in this community too. We recently moved houses over in the Tyler Hill neighborhood, District 1. Only a couple weeks in there, my daughter, she was 2, outside playing, got mauled by a feral cat, has scars on her body that probably won't ever go away. And then about a year and a half earlier than that, my wife was out walking our dog, and it got mauled by a pit bull, bloody incident, almost passed away. This is a dual-fold issue. Public safety has to be the number one thing, but we have to make sure that we're caring for and helping these animals. At the end of the day, it's putting an enormous stress on our public safety, having to go all the way out to the limits of the police jurisdiction and back, when there are other things that need to be addressed too. We need to reallocate funding. This needs to be the number one thing that is talked about at all the meetings, at least as far as my district is concerned, because I know people that are afraid to come out of their homes, and that is not the environment we want. It has to be taken seriously, and it has to be approached with serious leadership.
Thank you, Mr. Hodges. Mr. Burke?
There's a lot of great responses there. Just want to tell you a little story. When I was just a little boy, my mom and dad divorced when I was 5 years old. We moved in as a little single wide trailer by my grandmother's house. Lived next to a railroad track. Guess what happens at those railroad tracks on the back roads? Everybody dumps their dogs out. So I've been going through this for my entire life. My family and I, we just recently adopted a dog out of the shelter. So I'm a dog guy, and I want to try to do something to try to help fix the problem. But to go back with what Mr. Turner kind of started the conversation off, Mr. Howell reiterated that we have 40 kennels. The existing kennel that we bought, $2 million, is much better than what we had. But I'll disagree with the purchase, and I'll tell you why. As a $2 million purchase, worth about $1 million. Now we've had to put another $500,000 into that. So that's $2.5 million we got into a situation. I think that we could, do a little bit better job with as far as taking some of those monies. We've got a leaking roof. We've got a lot of other infrastructure needs that need to be met out there on the kennel. I just think we need to be more responsible with our tax money. We can take that money and build a much better facility. And spay and neuter, I think we need to concentrate on a lot of spay and neuter opportunities to try to help alleviate some of the overabundance of dogs and cats.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. The next question that we have, the Alabama legislature recently passed a bill giving new regulatory authority under Act 2025-109 for recovery in transitional housing. This bill gives the Commission the authority for registration requirements along with penalties for non-compliances. What are your thoughts to ensuring that individuals in recovery know their rights and are protected from abuse, and the facility operators are held accountable? Mr. Turner, you're up first.
Well, some may or may not know I was a circuit judge for 18 years, and so this is kind of right in my wheelhouse. One of the first things I did when I got the job or was elected to be your circuit judge was to put my tennis shoes on and my blue jeans. I went to every you call it recovery and rehabilitation house, rehab facilities, whatever you want to call it. Went to every one of them that was open. Who's in charge? How many you got here? What's the curriculum? What's your chores? How much money do you charge them? How much do they get back from the money that they give to you? Who's got the key to the medicine box? We had a dossier on every facility in the county. And then after a period of time, I got the state probation officers to start riding with me to go out to see these very same things. So it's a problem. I met with the director. We have 3 major ones: Seven Springs, Tri-County, and I forgot our other one now. But we had 3 major ones. And we have to monitor them because of all the activity that goes on out there. It's just necessary. So I lost approximately 50 to 60 people on my criminal court docket through fentanyl, Senator. In 2 years, it just exploded. So facilities are critical, but the maintenance and the support and the regulation and the guarantees that they're doing what they should be doing are absolutely critical. There's nothing worse than sending someone to a facility and driving out there and realizing that, hey, they don't need to be there. So it's vital.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Mr. Wilson?
The halfway houses are needed. They are very important to people. They're used for various reasons. So if they are not there, they would be in the hospital or in the jail. So these houses are necessary, but they must be regulated. They must be regulated with the number of people in certain houses, and be regulated for what they're for. So this is very important for our community, for safety of our people, our residents. So they're very important for us. So we're working hard to bring some regulation for these houses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Shears?
I'm very happy and proud to say that I was part of this commission the last few years to where we had to face this issue head on. And we got with our local legislative delegation and we got a bill passed that give us a little bit of teeth in trying to regulate it out in the county. For those that don't know, about 43% of our population, which is about 50,000 people, live in unincorporated areas. Anniston and Oxford had already passed some regulations for halfway houses. So these entities that were having this funding coming in didn't want to lose it, so they were going just outside of the city limits. And to keep it simple, they would buy a 4-bedroom home, and next thing you know, there's 15 men living in that home. 4-bedroom, 2-bath home, or 3-bedroom. And they would have each one of those men that either would go to jail or go to a halfway house, where their family would say, well, we don't want our loved one in jail. So they would pay $600, $700, $800, $900 a month to have their loved one in that home. So it's a money-making machine, although some good comes out of it. Now, we know that everybody that goes to one of those homes don't get rehabilitated to the full extent. And so the problem was those areas were out in Saks, other areas that were just outside the city limits, they were unregulated. And so you had problems going on in older neighborhoods with older folks that had lived there all their life, and now they were scared to leave their home because of things going on right across the street. So we finally put together a task force, and we are moving forward, I'm happy to say, in the last 3 months with getting some regulation. Those that are doing it the right way, we'll champion them, we'll support them all the way. Those that are not, we want them to leave Calhoun County and go somewhere else. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shears. Mr. Hodges?
Yeah, to agree with some of what's been said up here, I do think the commission's done a great job here recently of working with our state legislators to get some teeth in it. The county doesn't have the same regulatory tools that the cities around them do. So when these halfway houses pop up in the unincorporated areas, it's critical that you have a way to check and balance them. Because the unfortunate truth is, there are a good bit of these halfway houses that were taking people in, not helping anybody, taking their paycheck, and then they would somehow find a way to turn you into an indentured servant, and you were doing work on their property, painting things, building things. You see it throughout town. The people that own those were making money hand over fist. There was one house in Anniston, a $700,000 house, that was a halfway house. It was registered as a nonprofit, and that's why some of the changes the commission up here behind me have made were critical. But this halfway house issue plays into a bigger issue too that we are facing here, which is homelessness, and we have to take that seriously. District 1, which again is Central Anniston, South Anniston, West Anniston, Hobson City, Pelham Heights, those areas, they carry the brunt of the social services. They also carry the brunt of the homeless population. Again, just like the stray animals out on the streets, children and families, those are something to think about. But having been close to the issue and worked with those who go through the process, it can be successful. We have to support it. It's not a popular thing to have a shelter or a halfway house in your backyard, but you have to give people a second chance and bear with them until they spoil that one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hodges. Mr. Burke?
Yeah, as far as the halfway houses, I mean, everyone in this room is a product of a second chance. Everybody, all of our families, every family in here in some form or fashion, we deal with this. 1 out of 7 people in the United States, or in the world, 1 out of 7 people have a mental problem. It may be anxiety, it may be an eating disorder, it may be schizophrenia, it may be bipolarism. But 1 out of 7 out of every family, one out of 7 in the nation has a problem. So one of my issues is with these halfway houses is the fact that, just like Mr. Shears stated, it's a money-making machine. 40% markup. 40%. I don't know of another entity that makes that kind of money. Maybe a casino. I don't know. But we got to do a better job. We got to have more oversight. We've had some poor management in these facilities. We got to do a better job, not only for our communities. Our communities aren't safe. We have had in the community of Welborn, a gentleman spoke not too long ago at a commission meeting. Somebody trying to beat the door in. Doesn't get the door beat in. Wakes the young kid up. His grandson, he gets into bed with his mom. A few minutes later, they start shooting through the house. He's looking for his girlfriend in the halfway house, in the rehab house. We've got to do a better job and we need some requirements as far as the mental health side of it. If we can charge these individuals 40%, it's $200 a head. And one of the memorandums that just passed, we went from a 4 to 1, 4 people per bathroom, to 6 people per bathroom. We didn't help with the problem. We made it worse. So I'd like to see some regulation passed on that.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Mr. Howell?
Mr. Shears said 2 things that was very important. He said SACS and task force. As I was first elected in May of 24, some of the first things I do, Walmart, pick a slave, wherever. I said, Commissioner Howell, what are you going to do about halfway houses? What are you doing about halfway houses? I thought, well, I was hearing that everywhere I went. I knew a little bit about what that was, but it was a huge problem, and it had never been addressed until I got here. In fact, most of all of us may not know this, but it took 2 swings in Montgomery to get this bill forward. Swing 1, we were so close the first time, we'd come up just a little bit short. Time ran out. But when time runs out, you got to turn around and start all over again. But I'm thankful that legislature got this pushed through because it's a key. Road Street, which runs parallel with Highway 431 across Hillcrest Baptist Church, was my poster job. I met with every person on that road because they were extremely concerned. The media age was probably 77 years old, most widow people, and they were scared to death about people moving in like those houses. But as someone just said here, we've got regulated buildings here that, like Center of Hope and such, they do a fantastic job. I had a tour of that several years ago with an attorney and the county administrator. If they do what they supposed to say they do it, they're doing it right. But I think one thing that may be off track here, I don't know if we actually answered there, Mr. Senator, is what rights do people have? We do not want, we don't want to violate people's rights. First thing I think, if you've got a drug and alcohol problem, I want to try to help you. If there's some way I can help you as a person, as a Christian, I need to help you. But, and that's one thing to help. But then again, the uncontrolled houses, they gotta go. It's just no good. I got pictures in my phone right now of a guy that got beat up in the middle of the night at 12 o'clock simply because he was tick-tocking on his phone and somebody invited him outside and beat him up.
Thank you, Mr. Howell. Y'all gonna love this next one. Is there an issue that you can deem worthy of that would result in raising taxes on the taxpayer? Good luck, Mr. Wilson, you're up first.
Say that again, Senator.
All right.
The last part.
Read it again. Is there an issue that you can deem worthy of that would result in raising taxes on the taxpayer? Mr. Wilson, congratulations, you're up first.
Sometimes taxes are necessary, but if there are other reasons, other ways and you can secure money, like grants, and get an investment from our local legislators, our senators, our representatives, if we can get taxes the other way, that would be the way. But I don't want you to have taxes, just have taxes.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Shears, you're up next.
I'm thankful that counties like ours don't have what's called home rule. Because in the past, if you get a group of men and women serving on the county commission that lean toward bigger government, they can pass their own taxes on the people. But see, we can't do that. And that's a good thing. We have to deal with the hands that we're given. We have to be good stewards of the money that comes in through property tax, fees, and licenses. And then we have to make this thing called county government work with what we have coming in. If there was ever, and I'll go out on a limb here, they may not join me, but I'll say if there was ever an issue, the first time you call 911 and that operator tells you, I'm sorry, you better put your loved one in a car and go to the hospital because you don't have an ambulance coming. That will get people's attention. In 2009, the voters in this county voted in a 1 cent education sales tax, 1%. And it generated about $9 million that year for education across this county. It's almost 50% every year is county Board of Education, the county students have it, and then the other 4 school systems have the other 50%. That 1% now is up to $20 million a year that's generated for education. And you can see it in our schools. I mean, it's been a good thing. But as far as raising taxes, I'm glad we don't have the power to do that. We handle what we have coming in a very good way. And if the people ever wanted to vote something in, it would be on them, not on the commission. Thank you.
So that'll be the issue, I guess. Next question, next one, Mr. Hodges.
Yeah, I think those are some good points made. My thoughts on raising taxes. I feel like you only get to the point of raising taxes when you've been a poor steward of what you have. I think what we have is enough and it just needs to be reallocated and restructured. That does not mean there aren't issues that are worthy of that. The thing is, in Calhoun County, as you see up here with all of us, there are 5 commission districts. We operate as one large county, but each of us has our own district. And District 1 is much more unique than the other districts. We have a poverty rate of 26%. So raising taxes would just put an unfair burden on some people that are already having a hard time. And I don't know about you, but it's a pretty hard time to get pretty much anything done. I mean, groceries cost almost $200, it seems, every time you go. Power getting shut off, lights getting shut off. We need to find ways to help people help themselves and to give them that sense of individuality and responsibility to be able to work out of their situation. But again, in District 1, like I said, there are issues. Another issue being county-wide, in Calhoun County, home ownership is 70%. In District 1, which is Central, West Anniston, Hobson City, home ownership is 54%. We have 3,000 vacant houses in District 1. That is 34% of all the vacant houses in all of Calhoun County. So if you live on the west side of Anniston, the south side, or you live in Hobson City, Pelham Heights, or McClellan, you have tons of renters, which now there's no renter's guidebook, there's no requirement for rental checks on a city level, but just kind of similar to the halfway houses, you have a little bit of policy and operational changes that you might can make at that level, but there are critical issues. I don't think raising taxes on everyone is ever a good idea. Maybe you look at tax increment financing districts and you create specific pockets where it's needed, because you can sit down and look at the numbers to make the most efficient decision possible when you're working with other people's money.
Thank you, Mr. Hodges. Mr. Burke?
This answer won't take long. No, we just gotta have some fiscal responsibility. No, I'm not for raising taxes. We just gotta be good stewards of what we've been dealt. And as Mr. Shears mentioned, you know, he would only be, if it came down to just a 911, right? Even before I did that, I'd have to work for free before I wanted to raise anybody's taxes.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Mr. Howard?
It's probably kind of short for me also. But I'll agree with one of my commissioners. Grants, Senate, and the House, and any other people that we can rely on is always good for us. But you know, I see the budget numbers in Calhoun County. We're in really good shape. I mean, you know, we're the 10th largest county in population-wise, but financially-wise, we're really in good shape. We really are. Raising taxes would be the last thing I would want to do. You know, I don't think the 3 years I've been here, I don't think that's actually come up. But I will tell you this, SSUT, Simplified Seller's Usage Tax. I don't know what you know about that, but I know my wife knows a lot about it. She orders things all the time, and I come to the front door and we get taxed. So that's kind of a new tax that started just a few years ago, and I can't remember the exact year, but I'm thinking the first year that the county reaped SSUT money was something like $300,000 to $400,000. Last year was $450,000 that we took in. And folks, this year we're projected to take in $5 million in SSUT tax.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Mr. Turner?
So I would have to respectfully disagree with all four of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 of us up here. 5 others on this podium. Give me some slack on complimenting my position here. So the question was, what do you think is valuable enough in your mind to justify raising a tax? Not, do we need to raise taxes, or can we do taxes, or can we not do taxes? That's not the question. The question was, what's valuable enough or important enough in our mind? I think the point was, what do we think is really, really important to us? You know, that's what the question was meant to ascertain, in my humble opinion. So quickly, and there's a young man out here, I think you hit the nail on the head when I was talking to him about our county, is I have District 2. I have a city, and then a county, and then a road that runs way up north. So my district is weird, you know, in terms of population growth. So I need 3 lanes in those 2 long corridors going out to get us out of Target, you know, when it's hectic in the holiday seasons. We go out the back way to that next exit down the road, and then we have 3 lanes getting us out to all those neighborhoods that are being developed down Chocolaca Road. So my district, you know, with all respect, is a lot different than Jackson's district or Mr. Wilson's district. So we would look at it from a different perspective in terms of what we think is important for the county. Thank you. So I would suggest that we, you know, long term, if we're going to think about something like that, which is what the question was for, what would we perhaps do with it besides education and law enforcement? Those are my top 2. But then getting that traffic out there to those new neighborhoods that are going to be built and exploding down those 2 corridors, and getting the holiday and Christmas and Thanksgiving shoppers out of the Target common Oxford complex, get that back road built.
Thank you, Mr. Turner.
Sure.
Our time is about up, so we're now to the 2-minute comment closing statements from you. And Mr. Shears, you're up first.
It's been a true joy in my life the last 4.5 years to serve on the commission. And I, after much prayer, decided, you know, to run again. But I'm at peace with whatever happens. I truly am. I feel like I'm right under the spout where the blessings are coming out with my family and friends. My life has been very fortunate and blessed. I don't own this position of county commissioner. I've only sat in it for a while. It doesn't belong to Danny Shears. So if the time comes for me not to have it, whether that be coming up in November or 4 years or 8 years from now, I'm okay with that. I feel like whenever I do leave, I will have left it better than I found it. I want to be responsive to people, and I have been. From Oxford to Anniston, Golden Springs, Chocolaca, White Plains, I've met a lot of nice people, and I made lots of friends. I don't always give them the answer they want, but I call people back and hear their concerns, and I think that's really all a person wants from a public official is just to listen. A lot is said about two key words always seem to come up during election time: transparency and accountability. Transparency and accountability. We're pretty transparent. We have 2 work sessions a month and 2 commission meetings a month, and they're open to the public. It's a minute and a half already. That was quick.
You're good.
But we're pretty transparent. If you want to know what's going on, they're open to the public. Come to them. We will entertain your remarks, and we will talk and discuss anything you have to say about county government. The other one is accountability. Each year, we're audited by the State Department of Examiners. In the last 2 years, we have had such good audits. They didn't find any findings. They didn't find anything. We're in the top 10% of all counties when it comes to how frugal we are with the money and how we're handling the taxpayer dollars. I appreciate your support. Ask for your vote on May 19th. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shears. Mr. Hodges.
Before I even got here tonight, the only thing I had preconceived in my mind was what I was going to say in my 2-minute closing, which I'm going to look at the camera to say this. The only reason I'm here right now is because my loving wife Charity's at home watching our 2 kids, so I can have the opportunity to come out here and do stuff like this. Charity, I love you. Thank you for making that sacrifice for me. I love this community, man. I love Anniston. I love Calhoun County. And I'm just someone who's not afraid to get out there, and if we're not going to do the work, people older than me are not going to do the work, that's okay. I'll go out there and do it myself. There isn't an area in District 1, which again is Pelham Heights, McClellan, Hobson City, West Anniston, South Anniston. There isn't Blue Mountain. There isn't an area there that I've not picked up trash with my own hand. And sometimes you just have to be the change that you want to see. But the issues that District 1 faces, they need a champion. We have had great leadership. The commission works well together. We should continue working well together. We should try to get all of our other communities to come together. But at the end of the day, the issues that our county faces, you can find concentrations of them right in District 1. Whether it be the vacant houses, whether it be the stray animals, whether it be the public safety concerns. I want to make sure that the little kids that I read across America every year at Cobb and at Randolph Park, I want to make sure that when they go outside of their house, they have a fun place to play and they have a safe place to play. Not just people throughout all the county, but the people that I think have been left behind. If you vote for Jackson Hodges to be the District 1 Calhoun County Commissioner, no one will be left behind because I will bring your issues up every single day until we get it done. Thank you so much for your time. Vote May 19th, vote November 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hodges. Mr. Burke.
Thank you. Mr. Hodge Jackson, you've had the opportunity to talk to the screen and tell your wife you appreciate her. I've got my wife sitting here in the second row, and there's no way I want to miss the opportunity to thank you for all the sacrifices that you've made. My family and I have had the opportunity to be a servant for our communities for over 30 years now. It started out for me as a youth ball coach, and I've transpired into a 14-year stint on the Calhoun County Board of Education. I've also had the opportunity to serve our law enforcement through ALEAF, Alabama Law Enforcement Appreciation Foundation. I've also been able to serve as a volunteer fire department board member and a Calhoun County Water Authority member. So it's in our DNA to serve and give back. I look forward to the opportunity to serve you in a larger capacity. I ask for your vote on May the 19th. Vote for Toby. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burt. Mr. Howard?
We'll need to time this. I've already timed this a minute 58. Good evening. Today marks 3 years, 6 months, and 4 days since I took office as Calhoun County Commissioner. I've had the privilege of meeting and working with hundreds of great people in dozens of fields. I like to use the term we, not me, because nobody truly accomplishes great things by themselves. That applies to infrastructure, community projects, transportation, public works, animal control, or anything else. I'm quickly going to touch base on a few critical projects. The Ag Center Vinyl Leatherwood project needed immediate attention from day one when I stepped in. By the end of my first term, we will have turned this program around 180 degrees. If I'm still here in 2030, it will have a complete turnaround. Mela Plain, water and paving project that had been on the books for 5 to 6 years, is now complete. Alexander Community Center, ARPA funds have been applied, a new roof and a new remodel job for downstairs rental area. ARPA funds also allowed us in Northern District of District 4, 2 water service projects totaling $400,000. I've signed agreements with the City of Weaver over 2-year grant projects totaling $149,000 of county money on their roads. That does not count the county roads that are also being paved this summer and fall and are already. As commissioners, we've supplied help with our community baseball fields in Alexandria, Weaver, Sachs, Pleasant Valley. That's both in youth and high school. I've got checks to give out tomorrow. CAT team, Community Action Team, Calhoun County Sheriff's Department. That's my favorite topic, as the sheriff knows. I love to talk about that, but not enough time now. Never has a county commissioner been faced with 3 major bridge projects in a 4-year term. All of these will be completed in my first term. In closing, keep up to date on my campaign at reelectterryhowell.com. And thanks for moving Calhoun County forward. Terry Howell, your full-time commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Mr. Turner?
Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. I also would like to tell you how much I appreciate Josie for being here in support of me and my wife, putting signs out and doing all the work that's necessary to get done to get my name a little bit out there. So I grew up in a non-Christian family and made a profession of faith at age 18. And after that, I wrestled with changing my major from political science and English to ministry. So because I felt like I needed to do a little bit better job if I'm going to be the kind of Christian that I felt like I should be and save other young people from maybe the misery of a non-Christian upbringing. A little bit naive, but that's what I did. So I changed my major. I was a political science and English major on scholarship at Jack State, went to Sanford, became a religion and psychology major, went to seminary and graduated with a couple master's degrees because I still felt inadequate. So 4 years went by, I'm working full time, and part of it with Dr. Billy Harris at Parker Memorial Baptist Church. And of course, then we had Watergate. And I'm like, darn, that's what happens when you leave it to everybody else. So I began to be pulled back into the political arena and decided that maybe I should apply to go to law school. So I went, graduated, was fortunate enough to pass the bar, practiced law for 20 years, and then never thought about running for a judge's job until they created a 5th Circuit judge's seat. So I ran for that one. Thank you. So I ran for that one, and I was lucky enough to win. Thank you to the voters here in Calhoun County and Cleveland County with the 7th Circuit. So I feel like I've dedicated a large part of most all my life to trying to find a way to serve people and help them in areas that I felt like were important and critical to their happiness and success. So I'd like to ask for your vote, May 19th, Bud Turner, of course, and thank you again for your sweet and cautious attention.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Mr. Wilson?
I'm grateful to have served Calhoun County District 1 for the last 14 years. I have worked tirelessly to improve the safety and the livelihood of people in my district and in Calhoun County. I will continue to do this when I'm elected, excuse me, for the next 4 years, I look ahead for focus on to maintain the progress I have made and the county has made during my tenure. I have served in a lot of capacities. I'm a retired educator, served principal, assistant principal, classroom teacher. I'm a retired veteran, serving 28 years in the military. I'm a proven leader, and I want to continue to do this for the people of Calhoun County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Let's give them all a big hand. For your willingness to serve. We thank you for your attendance tonight. I would like to thank Ms. Linda Hearn from the Calhoun County Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Henry Molinax, our timekeeper, and my bodyguard tonight. You're in trouble. The Calhoun County Chamber of Commerce appreciates your attention tonight. We appreciate the candidates that came out tonight. The Public Affairs Committee is the one that puts this on. So we appreciate your support in that. As these candidates come down, if you have questions, I'm sure they'll be glad to answer for you. And we hope you have a good night and a safe trip home. Thank you. Sir.